BlackBook Mondays Radio, sponsored by LordlandFilms.com, home of A Preacher's Life and other Lordland shorts. And now, without further ado, it's the man with the plan, Brian Harris.
All right. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to another edition of the BlackBook Half an Hour in Crew. So I'd like to start off by welcoming my crew member here, Robbie Thomas. How are you?
Good morning, Las Vegas. I'm doing fine and looking forward to a great conversation this morning.
Okay, great. We've got a special guest in here, Mr. Larry Smith. How are you doing?
How are you this morning?
Okay, great. And also one of our sponsors who helped keep us on the air, Mr. Crazon. How are you?
Yep, Crazy D from LordlandFilms.com, 702-793-7757 for film editing and photography. And don't forget, we're going to have a hot topic today, so call in 702-647-3688. That's 702-647-3688. We want to know your opinion on the BlackBook half-hour show.
Okay, great. As we start off, a little quick housekeeping, folks. I'll start off. Remember, Black Power is a three-legged stool requiring social justice, economic might, and our political agenda. So just to let you guys know, when we talk about our political agenda, I saw a survey that came out from Senator Kewen. A lot of people live in his district, and a lot of them don't. But he's asking what we think about basically the platform for the Democratic Party. If you're happy with it, let him know you're happy. If you think it needs to be some more direct things pertaining to the African American community, let him know. Because it is important that we create our own political agenda that is designed to give us black power. So, housekeeping. Mark your calendars. May 25th, the Black Business Council will be having a get-together membership drive from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Classic Jewel, 358 East Bonneville Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada. There'll be live entertainment, street specials, hors d'oeuvres. Again, May 25th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Our group, the BlackBook Crew and group, have a financial literacy training classes that are going to be going on May 27th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Nehemiah Church, 3606 Rancho Drive, Las Vegas. Information, Las Vegas. You can text me at 708-805-3819 for more information. But we're going to talk about the basic building blocks of your financials. You need to learn how to create a budget. You need, if you need some information about credit education, we're going to show you how you can fix your credit before you go to somebody to help them take you to the back end. We're also going to do some tax planning. How do you do a strategy for the whole year? Health planning, home ownership. There's some really good things. We as African Americans need to take advantage of some of the opportunities out there to own our own homes. Financial strategies. What do we do in creating generational wealth? So this is going to be exciting. It's the first of a series. It's going to be financial life cycle group. That's ours for the BlackBook half an hour. And last but not least, on June 29th, there's going to be a health fair. The National Black Nurses Association is going to be in town. Woo, a lot of black nurses going to be running around this city. And on July 29th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., come out to the Nevada Health Center in Martin Luther King Family Health Center on 1799 Mount Moriah Drive in Las Vegas. Again, 1799 Mount Moriah Drive. It's going to be a health fair. They're going to do some screening. They're going to have information, prizes. If you have some information, you can contact snbnalv@gmail.com. Again, tell your friends, your family, if they need some screening, come on out there to the health fair and get some free looks, some health care services. Now, let's go on what we wanted to talk to. Today, we were fortunate enough to have a member of the community that's doing some really good things. Mr. Larry Smith is the owner of G5 Plus, he has a lot of other businesses, which he's going to kind of give us an overview of his strategy in life. And he does some things to help the community as far as what we need to start looking economically on how do we not just look for jobs, but how do we basically grow our communities so that they can be what they need to be. So without any further ado, Mr. Larry Smith, I appreciate you coming in, and we're going to start with you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. So I'm born and raised here in Las Vegas. I grew up on Walker, which is in Berkeley Square. So I'm a Berkeley Square kid, Highland Square, as Coach Bud would say. My grandmother raised me. My mother. I didn't have my father around, but like I don't use those as excuses, and I think that's something that we have to continue to do in our community. The system has been put in place, and it's throwing us off our game. So, growing up, I went to Valley High School, went on to play basketball, junior college in Prescott, Arizona, called Yavapai. Came home, got a job working as a valet. I worked at the Boys and Girls Club in the city. Let me go back a little bit. Worked at the Boys and Girls Club. So I've always worked. Even when I was 16, I was cutting grass. Always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit. That's one of the biggest things that I think our youth should understand. And I always tell the youth today is that like they have a better shot than I did. I feel like because I could cut grasses in my neighborhood. They have the internet. They can sell and do anything all around the world now, So I've always taken that and kind of ran with it. I came home from college, I had a son at an early age, and I wanted to make sure that I took care of my child. So that was a very big thing for me to make sure that I was in my son's life.
Great.
And, I was working valet. I've been betting. So the one thing I will say, I've been betting sports since I was at Valley. And I know this is probably wrong, but I was betting sports at Valley. I bought my first car at like 17 off of sports betting. So, and I looked at sports betting even back then as a business, right? So whereas some people look at it as entertainment, I look at it as a business. Even to this day, I purchased 3 houses on the west side from sports betting.
See, but basically your work ethic to combine with the passions you wanted to do were what helped you be a success.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a mind frame. Instead of looking at sports as entertainment, I'm gonna go watch the game, I'm gonna bet on it. I took it as a business opportunity to say, you know what? If I start with $1,000 on Monday, I'm gonna pick my games each day, one at a time, right? Figure out which ones I want, and then go for it. And I tried to make, I set a mindset of saying, well, I want to win $100 a day. Right, and then as I got better and better, I want to win $1,000. I want to win $5,000. So I started, setting that up, and then I would end my day on Sunday, right? And if I started with $1,000, if I had $1,700 on Sunday, I made $700 for the week betting sports. And it's just a mindset and a different way to think. When I go in the sports book, I don't drink. Of course, you go in there, they're drinking, they're serving. It's all part of their way of thinking. So they get you drunk.
So you
cocktails,
don't care.
right? You don't care, but when you look at a sports book and I go back and I sit back and say, well, the people behind the counter aren't drinking. Yeah. So then why should I? So it's just, I just wanted to change that mindset. And then as I got going, I started a business with some rental cars with some attorneys, and it failed. And I lost a lot of money, but I wasn't deterred by that. I knew that was just part of, playing the game, playing basketball. You're not gonna make every shot.
You're right. It's funny. One of persons that we had in here was Frank Hawkins. He said, "Failing to success." And sometimes the biggest thing about failing is what you learn, what not to do in the next endeavor.
Yeah, it helps you. Listen, having those failures helped a lot because you get to see the people around you who's gonna be there when you're down. Jay-Z says the best times are the worst times. And I believe that. So I got to see who some real friends were, when they didn't think I had anything. And even though the business wasn't well, I still had stuff because I've always kind of adopted the philosophy of that I wanted multiple streams of income.
Correct.
And then, the biggest part for me is that when we're doing this business, when we're doing these businesses, the biggest part for me as an African American is to make sure that I'm honorable in everything that I do. And to make sure that there's no cheating, there's no stealing. Not everything that we do in business often benefit us. Yeah. Something I try to teach my son.
I have a question for you real quick.
Yes.
You said that you you would bet 1,000. Then by Sunday, if you had $700, you made $1,700.
Yeah.
Then you made $700.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you invest that $700?
Well,
what did you do with the 1,000 again? And what did you do with the $700?
In sports betting, that's called your bankroll.
Okay.
So what I would do is I would up my bets from, like, if I had $1,700, now instead of betting $110, I would bet $130 the next week.
Okay.
Right? And I would put some of the other, I would like take $500 of the profit away, and I would keep the $200 and add it to my bankroll.
Okay.
And then as you get going, you start making your bankroll bigger so you can increase your bets.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about having discipline and just increasing your bets. So I would, and then before you know, instead of bet, I went from betting $25 a game to $55 a game to $100 a game to $5,000 a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a mathematical number at that point. At that point, you realize it's just a number. And then it got to the point where I started getting kicked out of sports books. Like when I say kicked out, like, you know, like if, you know, at some point, like I've been very successful in baseball. Baseball season's been very good to me, and I'm talking about taxable income, where I pay taxes on income from that. And what happens is that they won't kick me out because I am too nice. I make sure I tip everybody and take care of, because obviously, you know, they feel like, you know, a lot of African Americans don't tip, but I would go in and, you know, if I win $20,000, hey man, I would tip out $500 to the people behind the counter. So made it very difficult for them to kick me out. But what I would do is they would come in, and if I wanted to bet $5,000 on the game, they would say, you know what, you can bet $500 on the game.
Yeah.
And that's just a way of saying, get out of here. We don't want your business.
Yeah. So let me. I want to ask you. I want to kind of take you back to where we were talking about. You know, you had a business. It didn't fail. A lot of us don't realize that a high percentage of businesses fail. Mm-hmm. And just because a business fails doesn't mean somebody stole from you. It doesn't mean that you were bad people, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't reinvest with the persons that you did business again. So I kind of wanted to bring you back to that whole issue of you had told us about the fact that you had gone in, your business it failed, but obviously you've been able to partner with people who understand that business is risky. And if you think you're going to knock it out the park with every business you start, and if you think, I mean, one of the big problems I'm going to hand to you is when you talk to black folks, one of the oh man, I don't do business with my friends. I don't do business with my family, because we have been kind of conditioned to believe that we don't steal from each other, or we've been conditioned to believe that we can't work together. So I'm gonna let you talk about.
You know, that's why I said the most important thing in business for me is being honorable and trying to do the right things, right? And obviously sometimes people don't always see it that way, and that's why you get your lawsuits or whatnot. And to me, like, and I have a current lawsuit right now against G5. To me, it's black on black crime at the end of the day. I can't really speak on it, but it's part of it, and I understand. But at the end of the day, I sleep very well at night knowing that I do the right thing.
Exactly.
It's very important that you are honorable. Like I said, not everything that we do in business is beneficial for me. So in other words, if I'm doing business with you, sometimes, you know, things may go okay, but, you know, I want to make it to where it's going good for you. I have those 7 streams of income. It's not going to hurt me to take care of my brother, to make sure that he's okay, or my sister to make sure they're okay. So,
that's a valid point. Like you say, a lot of us don't realize, okay, if I have, and we talked about this, if I have $10 million in the bank and I die with $10 million in the bank, well, I die with it. It didn't change my life. But if I have $5 million in the bank, but I spent $5 million helping the community, doing some things that didn't give me the return on investment, some other ones, is that other $5 million going to change my life? But will it have changed other people's lives, or at least giving them the opportunity to change their lives?
Well, let me just say one thing about business, is that people think that money is going to change their life in a certain way, and it does to a degree. But the one thing I want to emphasize is that if you're happy, you're winning already. You're winning. If you're happy to go to a baseball game, it allows you to go have a nice dinner if you want to. But if you're not happy, all these things, at the end of the day, I'm as well, right? That's the real success. The real success, when we get on top, especially in our community, it is one of the strongest things out there. It's hard to break. On top and throw that hemp rope over, and you can help yourself pull yourself up.
Exactly.
You know, one of the things a lot of people talk about once they get to a place that they consider themselves successful, It's about maintaining that success. You know, getting to that spot is one thing, but being able to sort of be sustainable on that level. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, being sustainable? Once you've achieved, you know, you've gotten where you want to go, so to speak, or a level of success, how do you really maintain?
Once again, it goes back to being honorable. When you're honorable and you do the right things, to me in business, those other opportunities come, right? And you're able to weed out the bad opportunities, and you're able to sit back and once you start having those extra finances, you can move a little differently.
Right.
And so for me, I try to do things that I'm passionate with, right? That I'm very happy with. I'm passionate. The cultivation is something that Sean and I are passionate about. We know that African Americans have been harassed and incarcerated for these things over the years. And we felt like, you know what, we can make that change. We can give jobs out when the opportunities come about. But the success comes from us is being able to have the cultivation and, for example, you owning a construction company. And if the cultivation is doing as well as they say that we should be doing, then we want to be able to come to you and say, listen, the bank isn't financing you. Okay, not a problem. We'll finance you for your payroll. We need you to go get this county job. Go put the bid in for the $2 million job. And we'll be able to finance you because obviously banks aren't helping us.
Right,
I mean,
right,
that's
absolutely.
one of the biggest problems that I see in our community is that, our people go to the churches, and it's not a knock on the churches. It's because the church is the church, and they're not into the financial side of it when it comes to lending out. But they should be at this point because people are going to churches. They're depositing their money into the churches, and the churches are then depositing to U.S. Bank and Bank of America and those places. And then when I come, you know, I have a factoring company, and I couldn't even get a $150,000 line of credit when I have $2 million in receivables. Yeah. So do you know how sad that is for me to sit back and say, oh, your personal isn't. Well, of course I want to keep my personal. I mean, keep it low. But at the same time, it's like when I look at the churches, I feel like we should be coming together, taking that church money and being able to help those small businesses. But, you know, I know the church people are going to say the church isn't in that for business, but it is a business.
It is. I want to jump a little bit because you've done some things, buying some homes and trying to do your own personal revitalization of the community, because one of the things I talk about is saving ourselves. We've got to kind of look together and figure out how to work together so that we can revitalize our communities instead of waiting for somebody else to buy it and kick us out.
So a simple process in our neighborhood, and I know from Regal Estates to Valley View to the Square to you name all the surrounding neighborhoods. Every one of those places they have painters, they have drywall men, they have electricians, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to go back in my neighborhood and hire those same guys. We're Stallworth, a painter, right? Hey man, I need you to come over here and paint this. Give me a fair price, right? Yeah. And he comes in, he's on time, he does what he's supposed to. We take those homes. For example, we have Antonio, his home. He got caught in the real estate when it went
the crash.
Yeah. So he, instead of him staying in his house, he had to move out an apartment. Well, the house was sitting in our neighborhood abandoned. So I went to him. I purchased it back. Right. I was able to purchase the house back. Got all my crew, my electrician, right, Neck Tech Services, drywall. We had Wiz and those guys. So we got everyone together
from the community.
Put it back up. Put the house back together. Basically, instead of him paying a higher rent in an apartment, gave him the option to come back in, and then I gave him the option of buying the house back to me at the price that I bought it at.
Yep.
Right.
And that's phenomenal because you still make some profit on it.
I still make the profit because if it's going to take him 2 years to get back on his feet, then I made rent for 2 years.
Exactly.
But the bottom line is, even though I know the houses are going right now, they're about $100,000, and I put $60,000. I gave him my word that I would sell it to him at $60,000. I made 2 years worth of rent, so I'm cool. But more importantly, the biggest part of that is that when this past Christmas when he moved back in, I hit the corner. He got the Christmas lights back up.
Yeah.
And all that does is it shows our neighborhood, it shows our community. It's a mindset.
Yep.
Go back to the mindset. It shows our community that we can come together and we can do this. So that was the biggest joy for me. Not the financial. I can't take any of this money with me.
Mm-hmm.
The joy was that man was able to get back in his house. He's able to have a good, comfortable family life and live a good quality of living. People think just because it's on the west side that they don't have a good quality of living, and that's not true.
They're wrong. Yep.
So wrong.
Yeah, and I commend you. This is an example of what, think of what we could do if we as black people had this mindset of working together. And I'm an entrepreneur, just like Larry's an entrepreneur. I'm in here to make money. I'm going to say this. My objectives long term is to feed my family. So we got to first understand, another myth that you hear us say a lot of time, oh, you making money off of me. Everybody makes money off of everybody else. But we seem to have this affinity to have a problem with another black man giving us services and making a profit on it. And again, if it's an affordable profit, that's what he's in business for. So I commend you because, like I said, there's a lot of higher returns on your investments you could do. But this is one where you're going to still, as an entrepreneur, get your money back, still be able to have a return on your investment, but you've helped the community. And that's the big thing. And I'm saying this.
Take the West Side, for example, and if $60,000, well, I actually bought like about $55,000. And what happened is, if you look at the market now, the houses over there are over $100,000. So there is value there on the West Side.
Correct.
There's a lot of value. I feel like
everybody else knows that.
Everyone else knows that. And I feel like a lot of us are going to these other places. Listen, we're giving people an affordable place to live. The people that live in my homes now are very good people. They're good members of the community. And by us fixing those houses up, once again, it makes the value go up, right? And then more importantly, it's making the other people in the community take notice. And now they're starting to fix that window.
Exactly.
They're starting to fix their yards up because I'm fixing the yard up nice. I want my tenants to where I make those houses as if I'm going back to live there in those neighborhoods.
And just to let everybody know, on May 27th, on our financial literacy that is going to be at Nehemiah Church from 9 to 3, part of that's going to be talking about home ownership. There's some options and some ways that we can get in and take advantage of some of the government projects that are here that will help you with down payment. So mark your calendar, May 27th, Nehemiah Church. Text me, let us know you're coming. We're going to get a chance to kind of work with you all to say, how can we do some more of this home ownership? Because I guarantee you the property values are going to go up. And if we don't own a lot of ours, we're going to be evicted and we're going to be basically looking for a place to live that is affordable, and it won't be here.
It's sad though, because like you see these homes, like you got to figure if I bought a house that's $60,000 on the west side and it needed a little work, you got to figure that home, if you go put a down payment on it, the down payment on it has got to be like $2,000-$3,000.
Yep.
Most people get that in income tax checks, returns, and then what you do is you go back in. So now you have a payment on a $60,000 house. It's got to be $300.
Yep.
So, but listen, our people have to learn to stop looking good and losing, and start looking bad and winning.
Our people have to learn to stop looking outside of their community,
right?
And look inside.
The same people who will be outside the community will come back to your community, and you're pushed out.
Yep. Right? Now, our time is up. It goes fast. So, Larry, first of all, I thank you. Hopefully you'll come back on, because we need more people like you. That's what we started the Black Book Half an Hour about, to talk about black economics. We have to understand that we can control our own destiny when we save ourselves through black economics. Again, I want to thank you, as usual, for being on.
Absolutely.
Robbie, I want to thank you for sponsoring and being on Crazy
LordlandFilms.com.
Lordland Films. We're out again. If you want to contact us, Brian Harris, 708-805-3819. And
you want to contact the BlackBook Crew about promoting your black-owned business, again, use that phone number, 708-805-3819. Let us know that you want to promote your business or to market your business. We'll be happy to help you out.
Thanks.